I need a timeout. Let me tell you what. So, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing is wrong with me. I just being, I have the most like empathetic freaking heart and like stupid. Just, oh my gosh, my brain is overwhelmed right now. I need to stay away from the flood coverage right now because I can't. I'm not gonna cry again. I promise. Stop. I need a break. Whew. Okay. I've been watching this flood coverage all day, and I need a break from it because I keep having these random outbursts of crying and just, I feel absolutely stupid for getting caught up watching all of it because where I'm at and our situation keeps us from being able to fully be able to help. You know what I mean? Like, I feel so helpless. When I was in the military, guys, and Katrina happened in '05, I felt useful then because of being able to go in and actually help. And knowing now that like we're this situation, there's nothing we can do. We can donate, you know what I mean, and help with funds and stuff like that, which is great. Right now, we're trying to find a way to donate. That's not a scam because there is a bunch of them. So please be wary, guys, and be very vigilant as to where you send any donations. We're going to be sending them straight to an actual like source. We're not donating to any GoFundMe's, any personal setups, none of that stuff. We're just not. There's quite a few different charities available out there. So we're looking into quite a few. I do want to make sure we donate to this because I just feel so out of sorts, but we need to make sure we put our part in as just for humanity's sake. But yeah, I think I am mentally exhausted from watching it. I can't imagine what the people that are in it right now are going through. I can't imagine it. Like, honestly, like I cannot fathom what any of them are going through. Hi, sports deductions. Hi. You know, this isn't the place for that, so you can go have a good day there. So I'm just like I think I'm overwhelmed, and I need to stop watching some of the coverage. I was just now watching a story of one of the people that were in that flood themselves. Like, they lost everything. They lost their entire livelihood. Everything. They lost literally everything but the vehicle and the clothes on their backs. So yeah. But I've been watching on and off all day. I've had the grandbaby with me all day, and just I had to be really careful because I kept busting out in tears, and I would just hold him and hug him and be so thankful that he's here and he's safe. And it just, I can't imagine what any of these people are going through, any of them. It doesn't, not just the people from the camp and the children from the camps, but just everybody. So yeah, so I needed a timeout. Step away. And I knew to step away from watching any more footage, I could go live because I have to stop everything in the background. I have to stop watching stuff. I have to stop. Because I'm like obsessively waiting for any other good information, any good news, any more survivors found, you know? And it's, so far nothing else has come in, and it's like you just keep ticking off little bits at a time. But hi, sports deduction. Thank you for coming in. And saying hi to this old lady. The craziest part is my birthday is in 2 weeks. And I think this time around, I'm going to set up a GoFund, like not a GoFundMe. I'm going to set up a thing on my Facebook. You guys won't see that, but this will be for my family and friends, to get them aware and to get them to actively donate. I'm going to be setting up through an actual charity, to earn, charitable funds instead of getting stuff for my birthday, which I don't need stuff. I have what I need. Just to set it up and let them donate into, and myself as well, into a charity of my choosing for this particular catastrophe that's happening. This natural disaster, I want to put something in. I want to make sure that we do our part, because I can't actively go out there and help search, and I can't actively go out there and help rebuild. So I want to make sure that I can do something that makes me know that I did my part, in humanity to do so. Man, I am mentally drained from today. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry about that, guys. So, anywho, today, let's go ahead and go over my day, other than the watching of the stuff that is like, got me, completely unglued. So, over the last week, I had Jay come out and visit. By the way, one of the best visits we've had in forever. We had so much fun. We had so much talking. And Carlisle is so advanced in his language skills that it was really cute to watch him talk with Papa and have Papa interact with him. And he just had so much fun. Hi from Brazil. Hi there, Lucas. And so to have him hang out with Papa this weekend was so nice. And just to watch Jay just being able to take some time away, like his oldest daughter from his previous marriage, she was like, Dad, you really do need to get away. You need to get away. She even told him while he was here, Dad, just stay an extra day and call off work. But because he had done a rental car, he decided he couldn't just like keep a rental car for an extra day without like, going through things. They end up reporting that stuff stolen. So because it would take too much work to go ahead and get the rental car for the extra day, because he already had it and that car was already booked for somebody else the next day, he had to have the car back by like, I think 12:30. And so I told him, I said, next time when you come down, bring your car instead of a rental car. I understand why he got a rental car, because I know his car is 11 years old and he takes very good care of that car, like really good care of that car. And we don't want to run it into the ground. And driving an hour and a half, or an hour and 45 minutes actually, from where he's at to where we are, that's a bit of a drive on the car, back and forth, for him to keep coming out here. So she told him, she goes, well, the next time you need to book your trip to go out there and like make it so that you're actually out there for a few days, like call off work, make sure you make arrangements, all that kind of stuff. Because him getting away is so needed. While he was here, I told him the same thing. You really do need to take more breaks. You are of retirement age. You've been retirement age for a while. But he really thoroughly enjoys his work. And so him coming out here, he was just so happy to be here. He got to go out, be with the chickens. He got to meet the turkeys finally, which was something I'd been hoping for. One of our turkeys, if you guys go watch my previous like shorts that I uploaded, one of our turkeys is massive compared to the other turkeys. Like the other two are so small, and I thought for sure they were females. I thought for sure they gotta be females. They're so tiny compared to him. But then all their feathers started coming in. And all three of them have the exact same color pattern, but also have feathers that females don't have. And so I was like, I have all males, which by the way is fantastic. We don't want any breeding with our turkeys at all. We have three male turkeys in there. Fantastic. I know that the one is definitely the top dominant turkey. He's massive compared, like, and I'm saying massive. He is definitely much bigger than the other two. In the video, it doesn't look like that. Because I was like, the two that were standing together was the really big, massive one and the one that was smaller. But perspective is everything when it comes to camera work. And they look like they're pretty close to the same size. But if you see them in person, you know that's not true. But today, we got to take all of the guinea fowl outside. Or what they call guinea keats, because they're keats right now. They're not actually full grown, so they're keats. We also don't know who's male, who's female. And Tiny Tim went out with everybody. Now, I will say this, because people are probably going to see that video and be like, why is he like that? Or she, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, by the way. Excuse me. But here's the thing. So when Tiny Tim was first hatched, totally normal bird, right? Got around just fine, running around just fine, legs working just fine. And then week 1, right? Got to 1 week old, looking great. Everybody's running around just fine, playing around just fine, flying, starting to use those wings to try to get around. And then we got to week 2. And I started noticing that Tiny Tim was still quite tiny. And I thought for sure at this point, Tiny Tim would catch up with everybody and we wouldn't be able to differentiate Tiny Tim from the rest of the flock. That's not the case. Tiny Tim still stayed tiny and wasn't quite keeping up height, like size-wise. So we introduced more Nutri-Drench to the food, to the water, and then we also introduced electrolytes into the water for a bit of a boost, and then also probiotics, which will help with indigestion and all that, and consumption of food. But I did notice that Tiny Tim was one of the biggest eaters of the bunch. Definitely loved getting in there and getting that food, getting that water. Totally just keeping up with everybody in that aspect. Just wasn't quite growing as fast. But I also noticed a second problem. That Tiny Tim's legs, when they first are born, like their legs are out, right? Their feet are out, like they have like 3 toes, and then they've got like a 4th little toe at the back. And they're fine, right? They're walking, everything. Then I started noticing the feet started to do this. So I taped the feet to pull them this way, right? So I got the legs pulled back in, got those little elbows pulled in, and whatnot. So we did that step first. But then I noticed when I did that step, the feet started to do the whole this. They started tipping inward. And I was like, what is happening? So I got a hold of one of the veterinary clinics here. And they said, well, we don't take care of, none of our veterinary clinics, by the way, here, take care of any kind of fowl, any kind of poultry, nothing. None of them. So I call Vegas. And Vegas has like a specialty clinic for like, you know, your kind of exotic animals, so to speak. And I asked them, do they do anything with chickens, like poultry, fowl, or whatever? And they said, well, we do take care of poultry. You know, because we do have a lot of in-city people that take care of chickens, that have chickens, but not roosters. Like, but if it's, I was like, no, I just have a question. And so with the female vet there, we had a conversation about Tiny Tim. And like, how do I help Tiny Tim with the fact that we've already done the corrective, like keeping the legs pulled in so that his feet weren't doing the funky, like they were starting to spread outward. We don't want that. We want them to stay with their feet forward. And so I said, but since I've done the taping method, we've been 2 days of trying to keep those feet right. Now they're tipping and like curling inward. The feet themselves are curling inward. Like I've noticed that the lower part of the leg is starting to kind of tilt. And so she said, well, take off the splint and see if maybe he tries to correct himself. And that didn't work. He started to just set on the elbow part of the leg, right? Or what we would call the knee if you turn the leg around backwards. Their knees go backwards. And so I was like, well, he's starting to walk on the backside of his little knees, which I'm patting my elbows, but you know what I mean? Like their little feet and then their elbows, you know, that they kind of walk like their legs look like our arms do. Like we're trying to walk on our arms. And so we did a follow-up conversation and we did the taping the feet into little cardboard, you know, little sandals, make like little sandals, make the feet sit correctly and then tape the legs into position, like tucking them in, pulling them inward so they're not like this, pulling the feet, like the legs inward. And he did good on that for like a couple of days, but we still noticed those legs just kept right on rotating to the point where the legs were just like, the feet were like this, but the legs were in, but the feet were completely in like this. So she said, just take those off. Take them off. It's not doing any good. There's a genetic issue. And that there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop that. So you have 2 options. One, see how he does. and if he's able to get around functionally. And if he is, leave it alone. Like, just let him be. If he starts to decline, not eating, not drinking, and starts to get, like you can see when they start losing weight, then your best bet is to dispatch him. And I said, okay, so we'll watch him for a few more days. Watched him for a few more days. They are now about to be 4 weeks old. So this is all during week 2 to week 3. So that 7-day window, we just kept watching him, and he gets around really well. He's even flying at this point. Now, he can't perch in any trees. He can't perch on the like stand that they have for their nest for during not nesting, but during roosting at night. Most fowl and any kind of bird, poultry, fowls, turkeys, all that kind of stuff, they roost up like in the trees. He'll never be able to roost, which is a good thing that he is in a, like at a homestead on a farm, and in a very secured, space, because he'll never be able to get up off the ground. Now he can fly, yes, but he would need to find a very flat surface to land on. So that's not going to happen unless we build something specifically so that he can fly up and get off the ground, which we probably will do if he continues to thrive. He's thriving. He or she, we call it Tiny Tim, is at this point officially always walking on this part of the leg. Now, the vet said I have 2 options at this point, when we talked this week. We can, and that little joint right there kind of has gotten really bulbous, like because they've used that as their way of means of getting around. We can leave the limb as it is, right? Because there's nothing we can do at this point. They are completely almost upside down at this point. Like the feet are almost turned this way versus being on the ground. So they have completely rotated outward and are starting to come back around like this. So the feet are like this. Not this part of it, just the feet themselves have twisted over. And so she said, well, he's getting around. He seems very happy. He's not screaming in discomfort. Whenever the other flock part of the flock moves, he goes right with them. When they fly up into the areas, he goes right up there with them. The good part is our bushes have like little setting points. So he just plops down and just stays on it, however he happens to land. And then will push himself off. So he's completely thriving. Now, is this a way to leave him to be? I mean, as long as he's happy, he's eating, which says that he's not in serious discomfort. He's drinking water, which also says he's not in discomfort. When they're super uncomfortable or in pain, they won't go to food and water. They'll kind of hunker down, and usually will succumb to the pain and starvation. So as of right now, he's doing good. We're going to just keep a close eye on him. And when he starts showing any signs of absolute discomfort and inability to function, we will dispatch him. But she said the other option is also to go ahead and amputate the area that has just completely twisted in on itself. We can go ahead and take that part out of the way to allow him to learn to just utilize the area that he's calloused up. And should be okay. I said, well, for right now, let's just let him be. Why cause an open wound on an area that he's utilizing right now? The toes, he can still open and close them. Even though they're upside, like almost completely upside down, he still moves them. So he's still getting movement in them, and they're still like technically capable of like movement. And I don't want to disrupt, like if they were no longer moving and they were kind of locked shut, that would say there was no longer any nerve sensation or whatever coming to them, which would mean when you amputate them, there's not really going to be much pain or anything that goes with that. So I've decided to just let him be right now because clearly he has a lot of feeling still left in his feet, and he's still capable of moving them. So I don't want to cause him any unnecessary pain. So we're going to keep him just as he is right now. He's just a little bit of a special baby. Like I said, I'm calling him a he. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Guineas are super difficult to differentiate until they're much older. And being that these Keats are just about to be 4 weeks old, we have finally moved them from inside the house outside. If anybody's concerned, they are almost 4 weeks old, and we live in Arizona. If you know Arizona, you know the Arizona heat. They will be fine outside. Our nights are right now getting down to 80s. they no longer require a heat lamp. They're no longer needing that 100-degree heat, that 95-degree heat, none of that. But during the day, it's over 100 degrees out here, so they'll be a-okay. I kept their heat lamp running way longer than they needed because I knew that when I transitioned them, they needed to be used to that daily heat. Because out here in Arizona, the heat is intense. Excuse me. So, move them outside today. If you go watch the other video clip that I put up, the short that I put up today, you'll get to see them outside with the turkeys. We went ahead and placed them with the turkeys. After doing some significant amount of reading and stuff. Our turkeys are still very young. They're still juveniles, and they definitely will not be ready for harvesting this year for the 2 that we were going to harvest. So we are not harvesting most likely this year. They are still so very small. And then next year, we should be ready to harvest the 2. The singular one, we're actually ordering eggs from a hatchery instead of from like Neighborly's. We're going to go ahead and get eggs from a hatchery, hatch them, and hope that we end up with a couple of females that we can leave with the Big Tom. And that way the Big Tom will have himself a couple females. They can make eggs, and then we can go ahead from there to have our production birds. But turkeys are known to be super, super gentle creatures, which they are. My turkeys are a little bit crazy. They kind of, when they started to get bigger, they definitely have a fear of the unknown. And so I spent a lot of time trying to do some handling. They're much better now than they were when they were really little. Even though I did handle them on the daily, kind of made sure I kept my hands in there, made sure when they ate and got fed and all that. But they're just that. They're fowls, they're game birds. And so they're very wary of everything around them. Even the guineas are the same way. The guinea fowl are exactly like turkeys or chickens. Never ran from me. They always were ready to eat whenever you stuck your hand in their little vultures. But turkeys are so gentle in comparison. So with the turkeys, we introduced the guinea fowl in there today. They are much smaller than the turkeys, but we'll get pretty close in size once they're all grown. And so after doing a bunch of reading and stuff, found out that they would be a-okay to introduce because the turkeys are older. Now, if the turkeys and the guinea fowl were about the same age, if they were the same age during introduction, guineas are much more aggressive, and they would have killed the turkeys. But because the turkeys are, at least a good 5 to 10 times their size in that range right there, the guineas did not have any issue getting in there with the turkeys. We introduced them today, put them in there today, and I stayed out there with them for well over an hour, just watching to see, like, is there going to be any kind of squabbling? I think the turkeys were quite scared of them at first, because they're just so unsure of everything around them. But once they kind of, everything settled down and they all got to go over and eat from the big food bowl, was there like a big feeder in there? We introduced a second water container. Everybody just seemed so chill. So I was like, okay, we're good now. We're okay now. And then of course the guineas are able to see that there's all the chickens there. The chickens will get used to them. And guinea fowl will get bigger than the chickens, so like quite fast. Like they grow a lot faster, by the way, than chickens do. Our guinea fowl are already, like the babies are already just about almost as big as our 10-week-old chickens. So guinea fowl grow super fast. They start off really small and they grow really, really rapidly. So we'll see how everything pans out with them. We've got 12 of them out there, and then 3 turkeys and 28, or I should say 27 hens, 1 rooster in with the girls, the little tiny Dumbledoo. Dumble is out there with them. And then we have 11 roosters in the bachelor pad. Now it's just time with the bachelor pad. We're finally getting everybody's feathers back. Everybody's finally growing in. Everybody's finally settling down. Nobody's fighting anymore. And we're just kind of making sure they're getting that good feed, getting fattened up, getting them all nice and healthy, before we do any dispatching and processing. So that's kind of where we're at farm life wise. My eyeballs hurt from crying so much today. I spent a lot of time with my grandson Carlisle today. And that was fantastic because I spent so much time with him today. And he has some digestive issues when it comes to dairy, and we keep having him, like, we want him to get looked at by the doctors, but they keep on saying, like, other than the cow's milk protein allergy, he doesn't show any any signs when they did his blood work that there was any issues with any allergens. Like, there's no dairy allergy, there's no this, there's no that, whatever. But we've noticed whenever he eats anything with dairy in it, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's some ice cream, whether it's cheese, whether it's a bowl of cereal, whether it's one of his prescription Pediasures, because he is really tiny weight-wise. He's super tall, but he's really thin. Though we just think that that's just him genetic, his size-wise. But the doctor's like, we need him to get more calories. Okay, but he eats just fine. But because he's been so backed up because of the Pediasure and the doctor wanting him to take those, he can't go to the bathroom. So we're having to give him Miralax to get him to go. Well, the last 2 days, he is finally relieving himself. And today, he wanted to eat everything in the house. Everything. So I spent the whole day with him. It was Gigi and Bubby Day. And he wanted everything. Like, that kid ate everything. He ate chili mac. He ate gumbo and I guess you say debreaded chicken nuggets, because you don't eat the bread. So debreaded chicken nuggets dipped in his gumbo. He ate scrambled eggs with picante. He ate, what else did he have? He also had pickle chips. And he had the jars of the beech nut baby food. I mixed several different ones together and give them to him in a pouch, a homemade pouch. So he ate it with turkey and green peas with applesauce, and those things mixed together. He really likes it. I don't know why. Don't ask. I'm not asking questions. If a toddler is willing to eat it, I'm going to go for it. So I did a pouch thing with that, and he ate the whole thing. The whole thing. He had a cup of raspberry iced tea. And then we have a little tumbler, like a little tiny tumbler for him. And he drank that like all day long with water in it. He likes ice water, not just regular like room temperature water. So ice water. So we put ice cubes in his tumbler, and he had ice water multiple times today. And then of course he has the goat's milk. We've noticed he does fantastic with the goat's milk. So we're trying to stay away from any dairy made milk, whether it's lactose free or whatever, because he doesn't have a lactose issue. It's the fact that he has a cow's milk protein allergy, and it makes him constipated, and it makes him miserable. So we just take that out of the equation, right? So he ate and ate and ate and ate and wanted any kind of snack he could find, any kind of, if it was chips or if it was fruit roll-up or if it was, what do they call those things? What do they call them? The little packets of like the little fruit-shaped thingies. Anyway, fruit snacks. He wanted the Welch's fruit snacks. He wanted the lady fingers. He loves the lady fingers. And so anything and everything that he saw in his sight that was food, he wanted it. So I said, you know what, if you're going to eat, I'm going to let you eat. That's fine with me. He likes gumbo, by the way. Shrimp and beef sausage gumbo. I did get beef sausage because Jay eats the beef sausage. What do you call it? The big sausage thing. I sliced it up. So we do that. And this baby ate all of that. Like, shovels gumbo. He loves the shrimp. He loves the beef. He loves the gumbo itself, the rice. And gumbo is not all that like chill. It's on the for most people, I should say, it's on the spicier side. For me, I could eat a whole pan of gumbo because it is so delicious. I love Cajun food. I love Louisiana style food. I love that stuff. So he likes that stuff. He likes that spicy stuff. He likes picante on his eggs. He likes hot sauces. He likes spicy chips. He likes anything that's got some spice to it and a kick. He'll go, ah, but he loves it and he'll continue to eat it. So yeah, that was a long day today. I think with him and the neediness today, which is great. I'm so happy that he really had all that he needed today. It kept me really, really busy. And it also allowed me not to do too much deep dive. But man, when he went down for his nap and I sat there to do a checkup on everything that was going on in Texas, and I just bawled my eyes out watching a lot of the conferences that were going on, a lot of the talking, a lot of the press stuff. Ted Cruz came on and did a bunch of information. And then, what's his name? Abbott came on and did a bunch of other information. And my heart just kept breaking more and more and more. And then the interviews started coming on during the live information, and the dad that was out there helping look and whatnot. And then to find out, like, not even hours later, they found his little one, his daughter, and she did not make it. They found her body, and my brain just broke. Like, I broke. I'm like, the floodgates opened, and then little one woke up, so I had to like turn that off because he didn't need to see that stuff right now. He's literally 3 years old. And everything just kept flooding back in my mind as I was watching him play and watching him jump on his trampoline and play on his little tricycle and ride around in his little Tykes car and bringing me pretend coffee. He has this little kitchen set, and it's got a coffee maker, and he kept bringing coffee, and he goes, "You want more?" And I said, "Yes, I would like that very much." He goes, "Very much." And so we had our little coffee time and him bringing pretend food. And all I kept thinking as I'm watching him do this, my heart is just so full of love and just watching his little imagination run and wild. And all I could think is these other parents experience that with their littles. And grandparents that are going to get that call that says that their grandchild didn't make it because of this flood. I can't imagine losing that little boy. And I can't imagine, like there's another little one on the way. And when that little one gets here, that little one isn't even out of my daughter yet. And we already have such an attachment to that little person. We feel like we know a little bit about that little person and so far their personality. And it just to think, like, Carlisle's going to have a sibling, and that sibling is going to be a big part of everyday life here on the farm. And I just keep thinking about, like, what these other people must be going through. And it just overwhelmed me. All day today, it just kept, it was like waves just kept coming as I watched this little one do all the things he loves to do. The ball pit, the trampoline, what he calls his balloons, because he can't say balloon just with the first word just being balloon. He calls it a balloon. He adds an extra ba. Don't ask why. We don't know. But he loves balloons, and he loves bubbles, and he loves jumping on the jumpy instead of the trampoline. He calls it the jumpy. He loves having his swing or sling that we have out here that he loves to twist up in, do all his little flips and stuff in. He gets absolute giggles out of pretending he's stuck and then making you come rescue him. Hi, Jesse. And so watching him today and seeing his little world and how he lights up and his imagination running wild with him, my heart just kept breaking. I would just have these random bursts of tears happen as I watched him, and was so thankful for being able to see him and watch him and know he's right here and he's safe. And to know, like, as you watch these little moments unfold when they're that little, and to think, like, these parents took their kids out to do just their normal summer camp out. They're going to go be with friends and meet new friends and make new acquaintances, people they're going to get in contact with and connections with over the next, 2 weeks. And then from there going forward may see each other again, whether it be through school or whether it be through another camp session during a holiday break or whatever the case might be. Just to know, like, you drop them off, you give them hugs and tell them you'll see them in a week or two. and knowing that they're going out to go really enjoy their summer vacation. And to know that that is like, I can't even say it. That's the last time. They never thought that that would be the last time they'd see their babies. And I'm not going to cry again, I promise. I promised I wouldn't cry again when I did this. This is the whole point of doing the live stream, is so I didn't cry again. But to think, like, I can't imagine. I can't even fathom it. I can't put it into anything because I've never experienced anything like that. With my kids are safe and my kids are here and they know they are so loved, and I'm also blessed to be a grandmother, and he's here and he's safe and I'm good. Jesse, how have you been? And so, like I said, I needed to take a step back from watching the coverage, because little one, he went to sleep. We put him down for bed, and I immediately turned on to the live coverage to see, like, what are the updates? Anybody new been found? And the newest update said that there was still 5 girls missing and a counselor, and that tells me they found 5 more bodies. Because there was 10 missing and 1 counselor, and now there's only 5 left missing and 1 counselor. So to know, like, 5 more families were told the devastating news today. And I can't fathom it. Like, my face hurts from crying so much. My face is so tight from all the tears running down. I cannot put myself in their shoes. And my heart is just aching for them, because I cannot imagine being told they're gone. I just can't. So guys, put up a prayer. I don't care what race you are, what ethnicity you are, what your religious background is, whatever. That none of that matters. You are human. You are human. You are loved. Your families love you. There are people around you who love you, your friends. You have people around you who love you, and you the same. There are people around you who you love, who you cherish, who you consider family and friend. So just put up a prayer to those in Texas right now, just for the compassion of it, and to give them grace through this grieving process. Because I know a lot of our followers here do not have the financial means to do any form of what. That's why we're not doing any sort of financial thing here. I know that we have our following who are just not equipped to help with that in that way. So we won't be asking for any of that kind of stuff. We're just not doing that. Just want you guys to put up prayer. Prayer, prayer, prayer. And it's not for recovery of, like they're going to find people alive. It's not for any of that. Just pray for the people who have lost people and who are still waiting to find their loved ones. Pray for their healing. Pray for their comfort. Pray for their sanity in this, because I cannot imagine not coming completely unglued if anything ever happened to my loved ones in that way. Yeah, I don't know if I would even be able to stay sane through that. I'm trying so hard not to cry. So just put up your prayers, and above all else, hug the ones closest to you tonight, and stay vigilant, stay strong, and just like I said, just love the ones that are closest to you and that you find comfort in and love in and peace in. Make sure that they know that about themselves and you. And yeah, I'm going to get off here before I go completely emotional, because it's all coming back again. And you guys are fantastic and amazing. And if you haven't followed me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok as well. I know that the 2 platforms really don't want each other, like, I guess, promoting, but I'm going to do it right here at the end. I do post a lot of the stuff I post here on the shorts. I post over there, but I also would like to start doing some more lives over there. There's no financial gain over there. It's just, there's a wider audience, and it would be nicer to get more people on a prayer train to get this stuff going. So anyway, guys, you guys are fantastic, and I'm gonna get off here. I love you guys. And yeah, thank you for letting me vent and take a break and give you guys kind of a farm update. Alrighty, bye.